And one of the lines from his libretto is, I would know my shadow and my light, so shall I at last be whole. And for him, it meant that we must go beyond political activism, and it takes a psychological activism or maturity that we need to confront our shadow, much as our light, in order to be whole and in order to create a more peaceful and better society. So my book is really a antidote to ignoring our shadow side and being is almost advocating that we embrace it if we're not projecting that unconsciously out into the world, into our organizations and into wider society.
Yeah. And I personally think people are always, especially in the work environment, they are activating two aspects of in every conversation. One is the intellectual and one is the good side. Everything else doesn't seem to be welcome. Although we know we are working with humans, we assume them to act like machines and think the best possible cause and benefit for everyone and forget about themselves in the moment. And few other things like that somehow don't seem to be like embracing and involving everyone in their whole. And Stephen, I started to think about writing this book, and thanks for always pushing me. But I think the first thing I was thinking about, like I want to write on OOMPH really, is like this aspect of primal you, because I personally experience in work in therapy and also during my sabbatical and the comeback and everything like that is pretty much about a lot of that. How can you not mute and not repress one side of you, and how can you actually maybe wrestle with it, maybe tame it, but then integrate it, because it is what makes you be good reasons for writing the book, like personal, societal, professional, etc.
My own struggle. So all of the books I've written not as the expert or the sage on the stage, but really a guide on the side into my own inquiry. So, for example, when I wrote Not Knowing, it wasn't as an expert in being able to deal with the unknown. It was more about my own struggle in relating to the unknown. So, for example, my therapist used to say, Stephen, you seem to create polarity when there is none. So I would say, do I do this or do I do this? And lock myself in a binary choice. So my books are always an exploration. So for me, the inquiry was, what parts of myself have I kept hidden? What gifts can I not see? What would I benefit by becoming a more whole, complete human being, which is an inquiry more to aliveness. Maybe it's helpful